Hello, friends. Everybody is telling me I sound like Halloween because I have a little vocal cord issue at the moment. Tuya is going to do this meditation. We will not have the usual reading. I'll wait till I recover on that. But we probably have room for some comments or questions. So I'm sorry that I find myself in this condition, but we'll do our best under the circumstances. The glamour will be about hatred and racial pride and separateness. Mainly hatred, but it's related to the pride of race, separateness. So I'll stand by and let Tuya continue.
Hello, dear friends. And let us manage together, but still I want to, Michael, define what you said, that you said three things are our work today, because I have to remember exactly how did you say?
Well, I said hatred, but it's based on racial pride and separateness. So, as is the case in the United States right now, but it can spread very rapidly and is a real danger to democracy and to the work of the angel of the presence and the work of the master. So this is what we find as the enemy of democracy, enemy of love. The love of power is substituting for real love. That's a very dangerous situation. Okay, dear, you can go ahead. I'll turn my mute on.
Okay, let us just have a few deep breaths and center ourselves. So today we will start by naming the group members who are now present, and then we have the 3 minutes of silence. So we are Michael Crow, BL, and Michael Robbins, Anna Veronica, Anna, Anne, Annette, Carl, Catherine, Diana, Eva, Francois, Georgina, Heike, Karen, Catherine, Leslie, Maria, Marina, Mary, Nienke, Odile, Olivia, Tia, Vivienne, Yvonne, Zenaid, and Jan. And 3 minutes of silence. Ooh. the protective formula. When we are uttering these words, each group member makes the sign of the cross of divinity. Forehead. As a soul, I work in light. Heart. And darkness cannot touch me. Left eye. I take my stand within the light. Right eye. I work, and from that point I never move. Ooh. We can imagine the group has the cross of divinity shining forth in front of every member. The 3 preparatory stages. Let us now focus the dual light of matter, of etheric, physical, and mind, of mental. The light in the chitta. The dual light of matter and the mind. Now meditate on soul contact. Visualize, recognize the soul light and see it sending, see the scent of the light upon the mental plane. And the third, see now the fusion of these 2 lesser lights with the soul light, the light of reason in the mental body. The dual light of matter and the mind with the soul light. Ooh. Let us say the affirmation together. The light is one, and in that light shall we see light. This is the light that turns the darkness into day. the formula. Visualize now the great searchlight, fusion of these two lesser lights with soul light, which we have now created. Turn its light upon the astral plane. Let us say together, radiance are we and power. We stand forever with our hands stretched out, linking the heavens and the earth, the inner world of meaning and the subtle world of glamour. We reach into the light and bring it down to meet the need. We reach into the silent place and bring from thence the gift of understanding. Thus with the light we work and turn the darkness into day. Now we use the weapon of light and pause a moment invoking spiritual will by using the Andakarana. Sense the living interplay between the sacrifice petals synthesis petals to atmic plane of a spiritual will, reaching the monad. In your consciousness, be aware of your highest aspect of your being, using the beam we have generated. And we are aware we are using this, the weapon of light, having very strong vertical alignment. And we say, with power upon its beam, the light is focused on the goal. The glamour to be dissipated today is hatred, which is growing from racial pride and separateness. Later on, we just use the word hatred. We throw the light upon the glamour of hatred. While we are saying, affirming the power of our united light prevents the appearance of the glamour of hatred. The power of our united light negates the quality of the glamour from affecting humanity. The power of our united light destroys the light behind the glamour of hatred. Visualize the group standing within the wheel, together, the protective cross of divinity shining forth through the group. Visualize the light, searchlight of dual light with the soul light, penetrating into the glamour of hatred. This vast overshadowing vampire through which the Black Lord works leads millions into hatred, separation, and against the law of love. We are now going to have 5 minutes of silence. The silence producing the weakening and dissipation of the glamour of hatred. Let us see the clamor of hatred growing from racial pride and separateness has weakened and has dissipated. We realize the intensity of purpose has deepened, whilst the work was seen proceeding. Let us now turn away our attention from the astral plane. Refocus back upon the mental plane. The searchlight of the soul is shut off, and also the group searchlight. And we close together by sounding the Om. And we visualize the work had been done mentally, emotionally, physically. All has been successful. Thank you.
Now, are there any questions or statements that you would like to make? We will resume later with our reading, but under the circumstances, that's not possible at the moment. So, are there any points?
There are a number of thank yous and get better, Michael.
Yes, yes. Thank you, thank you. I know I sound like Halloween. But any points you would like to make, because this is such a great problem to try to exclude people, try to make sure that they cannot participate and have their lives improve. You know how it is. We are told by the certain parties, send these people back to where they belong. They don't belong in America and other places. Send them back. Well, it's a terrible attitude when you think that this country and many other countries were built on the idea of a melting pot, immigration of many types, all enriching the whole. If you start to eliminate people, there's going to be impoverished result. And so we have to have an open heart, not an exclusive, separative attitude, wherever it comes from. And it comes mostly from addiction to the personality. And ignoring the solar angel, ignoring the soul, ignoring the angel of the presence, not even knowing really that they exist. We have a lot of work to do to help people understand the real story of the many groups and how each group can contribute. So this is part of our esoteric work, inclusiveness, harmony, an open heart, acceptance. It's difficult when there are foes, foes who oppose you, and as is the case right now. So anything you want to say at this point, or right, or whatever.
Hold on a second here. We got a couple. Yvonne says we're a nation of immigrants.
That is so true. But some of the immigrants who have come, especially the white immigrants, feel they are especially entitled. And so the people of color are somehow, in their eyes, worth less. That is a horrible situation. and has to be overcome, and we have to work on it. You know, America, or the United States, says the Tibetan is the center of the old Atlantean continent. You know, you say, well, I thought Atlantis sank, but it was very big. Many parts to Atlantis, many parts. And the United States, the very center. And we have people from that ancient culture still with us. Their rights have been trampled upon. They were considered savages, and you could do anything you wanted to them. A horrible attitude of the proud white man, which has to end. So America is a great melting pot, says the Tibetan. And we have this going on to a degree in England, and also in the Soviet Federation, or the new Russia. All over the world, there is the need for inclusiveness, harmony, love, tolerance. These will be themes in the new Aquarian age, and we are now bridging towards that age. So yes, Ivan, exactly so.
There's a couple of announcements in there for the climate change conference and the links for the first of those starting tomorrow. And then Diana says Venezuela was a host country for migrants because it was the most progressive country in South America in an inclusive democracy with opportunities for all. Today, political greed fosters separatism based on a false patriotic pride that only enriches its permanence in power. And today, there are millions of Venezuelans migrating to survive, comparable to countries at war.
So this is very well said, and something we have to bear in mind. Countries with much promise can change, apparently for the worse, for a certain period of time, and let us hope for the best for the South American countries in the sixth root race. Not long ahead, they will be so important, so important. With maybe Brazil as a particular leader of the, or center, but all of them will be part of that sphere. Dear, was there something you wanted to say? Okay.
And then Heike says most of humanity has been migrating during known and unknown history. It would be important that all remember that. Every nation or group has been in any situation before, rich or poor, powerful or suppressed.
Yes. And the planet Uranus particularly rules migratory behavior. And this is the major planet for the age of Aquarius, not just exoterically, but also a part of the hierarchical moon. Um, there will be appreciable movement continuing along with many sorry many earth changes that the Tibetan predicts. Again, Uranus involved with those earth changes which um, compel migration often. Just imagine certain parts of the world becoming unlivable, and the people have to go somewhere. And who will accept them? How will they be accepted? It's one big family, humanity is, and that has to be realized. So we face a period of even greater migration ahead, um, and we must adapt through love, harmony, inclusiveness, things which right now are being fought against by those who love power more than they love love. Thank you, Heike.
Hey, Michael, can I share something?
Of course.
I just wanted to say that I'm thinking that maybe this situation could get refocused to class rather than race. This new thinking that all white people are oppressors is a kind of a disturbing trend
Yes,
to
yes.
me. And I think that on a practical level, when it comes to immigrants, um, I imagine that most people in the upper class would not want those immigrants in their neighborhoods. And so, I think there's a much smaller percentage of the population. It just so happens it's a class thing that even recognizes race, especially in my age range, as an issue. You know, we've been mingling online with all manner of people for a lengthy period of time. It just so happens that the controlling elite and I guess the dominant projection in the media is this racial war. But I think that most people are generally loving and tolerant. And if they're not driven to feel like they're being pressured or attacked, that they will um, care and protect and open themselves to different people.
Thank you. It is an optimistic point of view. I'm so sorry about this voice. Look, The class system was inherited from India, and it made its way to the United Kingdom and then to America as well. So we have vestiges of the four classes that are not understood, but people abide by them. Look, right now, there are millions of people who have been swept by false information and by fear and by the machinations of the Black Lodge. I was just reading in Telepathy and the Etheric Vehicle what black magic really is and how it is compelling others to do your will, regardless of what is best for them. So these people do exist. They exist on both ends. Any selfishness will lead to the left-hand path, and we must ameliorate the condition that millions find themselves in at this time. Not just in America, but in many European countries, and I suppose in China as well, where the people of Islamic persuasion are persecuted, considered to be an underclass. Humanity is one family. How shall we get that across in our own realizations and to the people who can absorb that idea? How shall we get that across? That is our esoteric task. Well, and we need your perspective and the perspective of the younger people. Yes, we need that because things are changing rapidly. Okay.
We have several more comments. Tia says, hatred and racism are effective tools to maintain slavery and subservience. They close and bind the hearts of those who perpetuate these glamours and enable dehumanization and other atrocities to occur.
Yes.
At their very core, you will find the Black Lodge and its preoccupation with form and unrelenting desire to subjugate and enslave humanity.
Okay, it's again well said, and one word stuck out for me, especially dehumanization. Dehumanization. That is what allowed otherwise decent people to treat others as if they were not human, but something of a very other. Treat them as other than human. And that has to end. So your statement is is well taken. And the age of Aquarius, with the great Lord of Liberty in Shambhala, cannot be an age of slavery, whether outward servitude or economic slavery, which also exists with terrible life-reducing results. So our responsibility is considerable. Thank you, Tia.
And then Karen says, the book Cast the Origins of Our Discontents by Isabel Wilkerson addresses racism and the caste system. It is very good.
Oh, good. We need to know the sources. Look, what does it mean in the old language that all men are created equal? The word created is there, and it has to do with the monad. That's where the equality really exists, in the monad. And not all people are of the same degree of experience. This is why the Christ teaching on reincarnation, he will emphasize that this time, is so amazingly important, so we can understand the differences in experience between people which do exist. So people in their normal expression are not equal. They have different experiences, longer or shorter, but as monads, they are utterly equal. And that's really the esoteric way of looking at that great statement from the American documents. All men are created equal and endowed by their Creator. In there is the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That was very foresightful, but esoterically it doesn't mean what it appears to mean exoterically. Okay, thank you.
And Michael Crow actually put that in there in the chat so they could read the whole quote from the Declaration of Independence. Yvonne says, we need bumper stickers. Humanity is one family. And Olivia says, love to all in oneness. And healing energies to you, dear Michael.
Yeah, thank you. Be careful what you gargle with. It can be a week of this. Anyway.
And Michael.
Yeah, Michael.
The interesting thing, and I guess this is a thing where we're dealing with somebody who wrote the Declaration of Independence or co-authored it, being, persecuted for having slaves, and they removed his statue in New York. So it's like, I don't know where we stand or where people in general stand. If you have a bad history, but you develop an amazing illuminated document, do you need to be erased because you were white and you were participating in some darker stuff at the time? Or is the document something we should remember? And the statue is kind of like a connection to that.
Yeah, well, really, Sally Hemings was like his wife, really. So, who's to judge that relationship? Um, there are many particularities and extenuating circumstances. The Declaration of Independence is an important document esoterically, and the fact that the writer had the foibles of that age, well, okay, he did have those foibles, but it doesn't mean we throw out the baby with the bathwater. How much poorer we would be without, I mean, all of us spiritually, how much poorer we would be without the Declaration of Independence. It's a tricky and difficult call. Okay. Well, friends.
Tia has her hand up.
Yeah, Tia. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, just to keep in mind that the pendulum, when we're trying to get a balance or a center, the pendulum often swings dramatically in the other direction. And a lot of what you're seeing in the behaviors of people is really a result of frustration that has been repressed for so long. And one of the most difficult things to understand about racism is that the person who is the victim is often not only not in this day and age necessarily dehumanized, but they're seen as invisible. And so, like any child or anyone who's invisible, you do increasingly dramatic activities to try to get the people to see you. And so there's a great deal of compassion that has to be sent out and love to people to help us all get back to center. Because I think in the next couple of years, as we move into the Aquarian age, we're going to be seeing the pendulum swinging wildly in every direction. And one of the things that we have to do is hold to that voice to help people continue to walk together, whether it's the vaccine and the no vaccine, or racism, or socioeconomic classes and divisions. It's going to be, things are going to come up because what was invisible has to be made visible, to be addressed and healed. And it won't always be in the most compassionate or the most beautifully expressed way. And we've got to get a little tougher with that to understand the silent scream is now getting volume. And people are going to keep increasing the volume until they feel that they've been heard.
Okay, that's very well said about invisibility and the emergence of what has long been invisible. It's coming to the surface now. We still have about 100 years before the Aquarian age technically begins. The next 100 years will be crucial in the relationships between humanity and hierarchy. Hierarchy, too, has been invisible. It's going to be visible now, and that's going to make a big difference. It will be consulted because things may become very difficult, and that kind of counsel will be needed by all humanity. So, well said. Thank you. Okay. Well, look, if this is
That's all I see.
completed, we'll do our best to get this up on Makara and on YouTube. And if you wish to review it, you can. Just the way the books are slowly going up. My apologies for my condition, but I'm doing what I can, and probably it's the result of attempting to do too much, but well, I don't have much to say about that. So Dewey and I and everybody, Olivia and the communications team wish you so much clarity and love and understanding and effectiveness as you tread the esoteric way with your helpfulness. Biel and Joe and Michael Stacy, and all that are here with us constantly. We all wish you great love and the improvement of your spiritual life. As we listen closely to the Master, whose degree of expertise in all these matters is quite astonishing, let us hearken carefully to what he has to say. So thank you, everybody. And Michael, is it possible to stay on a little bit so that we can get certain things straightened out? But we would say goodbye to everybody else at this time. And
Okay.
it's great. Yeah. I'll get to you, and we can try to work on those few technical things which have been problematic. So, otherwise, let's see, what do we do here? Just, I'm trying to figure out how not to cancel the whole program. Maybe you know, Michael. We'll stop the recording now.
Yeah.
Okay. And lots of love.